Thank you, Dr. Ravi Iyer.
I asked the permission to speak last because I didn't know what to speak. I said to them, and I'll figure out what to say. Can everyone turn and look at their wall there? You see some letters, right? I want you to remember what you just saw. All of you are part of a language academy. Language is how you know the universe. Your entire existence is language. You speak your reality in the words you describe it. When you don't know what to describe, it doesn't exist. How many can tell what this is? How do you know it's an owl? If you saw it for the first time in your life, if you were a 3-month-old baby, would you know what it is? At what point did that baby know that this is an apple? Who told it? The parents. What did they use to say it? They gave a word. They said apple. They gave it a color. They said red. And then the child describes it as apple and red. And from that point onwards, it's no longer a blob of some indiscriminate size or shape. It has meaning. An entrepreneur creates me. An entrepreneur uses language differently than a common man. A common man uses language to describe his reality. He uses language and words to describe what happens to him. He is not at the source of what happens to him. He is at the effect of what happens to him. And he describes that this thing happened, that person said this, and this person said this, and I felt this. He lives a spectator's life. You want to live a spectator's life? You want to create your life. How do you create your life? You create your life by speaking it into existence again and again and again. How many of you have tried to lose weight? All right. That gentleman out there in the green shirt, stand up, please. All right. He decided one day that I'm going to lose weight. And that's a speech he makes, right? And he gets up that morning and says, I'm not going to eat this, I'm going to eat this way. So he continues to speak that language of losing weight. And out of that speech, he takes certain actions consistent with the speech. Everyone following me? So you say something, I'm going to lose weight. And then you take actions consistent to losing weight. Right? And he does that for the first 4 hours of that morning, and then into the afternoon, and at 4 o'clock, somebody brings a gulab jamun to him. And at that time, what happens to his speech? He stops saying, I want to lose weight. And he says, I want to eat this. And in that moment, whatever he created from morning till then, this gets destroyed. And in that moment of self-destruction, he stops being an entrepreneur and becomes a common man. An entrepreneur never stops the speech he starts with. You with me? My name is Dr. Ravi Iyer. I'm a physician, a scientist. I run 3 companies, spoken 3 TEDx talks, one of which had 4.28 million views. I've written 10 books, and I'm in the business of saving lives. There are several of them out here. Now, the thing that I want to tell everyone here is it doesn't matter whether you're going to be an entrepreneur or a housewife. There are 3 things that you have to do to be able to create a life that gives you fulfillment. 1, you have to have integrity. And everyone thinks about integrity as if it is honesty. Honesty is the kindergarten step of integrity. Integrity begins by being your word. That means what you say is as real and as permanent as gravity. I want any one of you, would any one of you consider standing on a ledge at that height of that ceiling and choosing to step off and believe that you will not fall on the ground? No one thinks of that, right? They don't. They know that they'll fall. People use their word like an option, as if it's okay to say something and not maintain it. But when you realize that your word is reality, your universe is your language, that means you yourself are destroying your reality every time you break your word. Right? You get up in the morning, you promise, I will do this and that for you, to a friend. Right? You know what's a business? A business is nothing but promises. They are contracts, verbal contracts. What would you think of me if I came into somebody's life and promised to help them and not fulfill on that promise? You wouldn't come back to me, right? As a physician, you would come back. Would you go to shop in a store that breaks its promises, that does not adhere to its word? Guess what? 101 businesses every day break their promises, thinking that promises are optional, they're conditional. And that is the reason why profits don't last year after year. Your word is your word. And the minute you understand that, you become successful as a student, as a husband, as a wife, as a son, as a brother, as a friend, as a businessman, as a doctor. It doesn't matter. You become successful as a human the minute you understand that your word is the world. In in Hindu philosophy, there is Shiva and Shakti. Do you understand that? Everyone heard. Now, Shiva is actually awareness. The property of human beings that allows you to become aware of something is actually Shiva Tattva. Now, Shakti is the property of giving name and form to that awareness. Shakti is language. Most people are living life using very weak Shakti. They have no power. because they don't use language powerfully. They don't use language with the force of their correct character. They don't use language with the force of their will. They don't stand and be ready to die for their word. You'll see them all around you every day. When somebody says something and does not do it, they lie. And they are not dependable. How many people say that to you that, yeah, I'll be there on such and such day, on such and such time, and don't show up on time? Today's session that we had here, how late was it? You broke integrity right there. It's okay, you got forgiven. Everyone adjusted. But you see how we live life constantly adjusting? This constant adjustment that we do is the friction that adds an unconscionable burden to your life. It is the overhead of every business. How many people have been late for some event? All right? Did you have a reason? In my clinic, nobody is ever late because. You see, people think that somehow if they were late because they slept, because they were stuck behind a school bus, is somehow better than being late without a cause. They think having a cause for being late forgives them for being late. In an operation of any matter, being late is late. Its effect is the same whether you had a cause, a reason for being late, or you had no reason. In my clinic, nobody is ever late. They all come in and say, yes, I'm late. I need to know what I need to clean up. That's all. There's no conversation about why you are late. You know why we have this conversation about because the condition of human beings is to make someone right or wrong. So we need to know why. It means nothing. So the first thing you want to do to succeed in life is start being your word. When you are your word, you have integrity. And then when you have integrity and are consistently acting out of integrity, people look at you and say, that man or that woman or that girl or that boy has integrity. He or she is their word. And therefore, they say he has authenticity. The second corner of the triangle of performance. And the last corner is when you use your word and your authenticity as well as your integrity for a commitment to a cause that is bigger than yourself. So these three things, integrity, authenticity, and commitment to a purpose that is bigger than yourself, will lead you to success no matter where you are, what you do. You figure out how you're going to do it. But you can't do it if you don't have these three. And that's all I have to give for all of you.
Thank you, everybody. And this is the quietest I've seen anything happening in BDA. So it's a big round of applause for all the speakers. Thank you. You kept everybody engaged. I'm sure you have gone all those tiny little knowledge pearls, as we call in Tamil. Okay, muttukad. So thank you, everybody, for that. Now, I would like to take this time to have our kids ask some questions that they have in their mind. I know that so many people have been preparing for that, and I'm just